in elections our Ghana. And they say Ushema, let us say at that point in 2008, some sort of apathy be a see. And they say, "Oh, you reanimator, and your reanimator is obey appeal to non-MPP members and crown. But who you reanimator, obey appeal to your own members, send a bill to me as sorry, because what the 8 years away, and I open away then, who break it, sir, 8 year cycle now, who train fear what to be ye did. Aban for Eban, opposite Ubreki. Now, the young one says, over 2008, 2016. The young one said, they be an union 8 years in a year. And a one cast members, not the draw now, Crano, or my Macotiada. So, 2016 elections now. Those dynamics are, in fact, okay, in the National Democratic Congress. Some of their strongholds, Nanka voter turnout and Comuniano in previous elections like 2008. 2012 in 2016 and I know Trevor say so who ye candidate was a candidate no so you obi a or bet me appeal to one kasa wo base na energize your momo ma den omo so den akoto aba because u base no ankoto na so appeal to floating voters ekura won to be nya the much required percentage na ubetumi dey den every elections
so you need but just to go on a party person we have the sampling technique, convenience sample size 3,577, selection willful and available party officer within the constituency. The table one brings gives a breakdown, original breakdown of the people that they interacted with, and then the table 2 expectation of party people, expected partner. We have Matthew Poku Prempe, 1,273, Dr. Yawaduchum, 517, Dr. Henry Kokofu, 372, Apostle Professor Opoku Unyina, and I'm surprised. Apostle Professor Opoku Unyina, 233, and this name keeps popping up, Chief of Staff.
Oh, so on.
Oh, I didn't say America. Also,
Vice running
but why do
who keeps popping it up?
You see, this name keeps popping up.
You say this is deliberate inclusion. Why do you say it keeps popping up? When I'm preparing my question, I'm deliberate about what I put in there.
My brother, what do you mean by that?
It wasn't an accident. It's not like you did random sampling. Respondents catch us who.
But are you saying that there's nothing like an interest when it comes to chief of staff?
What do you mean by there's nothing like interest?
Getting
so look for an answer. I'm for person. Which one?
Maybe so.
I think so. I know the so much.
No, a question.
No, but are you saying? But how do you draw that conclusion?
Or see the name keeps popping up.
Yeah.
I mean, say Anopano. Say what can report to be a program here?
Yeah, I'm
surprised. So another group of people.
I'm surprised that
and then Mr. Sabe Pia Hantimi.
Is that you see when you say keeps popping up? I quite say randomly no. But I did. I'm for now studies, and I'm saying in preparing questionnaires, they choose individuals like my dream, are likely candidates, and yes, sir.
Yeah,
likely.
That's what I'm saying. And it's not accidental. It's deliberate. The inclusion of the name is deliberate.
But there are more names.
When you're saying.
Yeah, am I hearing to Yantua and Comono so? And say a year, the Wokano, say the Professor Smart Sapon report now, all kind of enumerate anami. Say lawyer. Mama,
that's Mamma won the neighbors.
Lawyer, we didn't make me a tramo. I next man to
let's know it's a higher or come as a portion.
I that me will live to say to begin as a crana. You can't say, oh, with the boomer, no one, Dr. Frank, going to wrap up for us. Until online, you said, what can I say? Make sure I yesterday, no power catch me and also a group of academicians and a year, and I hear Professor Smart Sapon. There is a so far, the dim back when says, ye basse and only a dear anymore, a dear back on a lady, and no dear, a steady and a yaka quainty. We can say you and I were not there. Until we cannot hypothesize, say, be a deliberate and I say any deliberate, but say it is a report about one of our kind of methodology. And what can't you deliberate? Now, just say. broni be kan say wo methodology ne dia nanka eye scientific because say o use a sample size or say o target eye constituency executives and obviously ne be purpose because untumi ka say o kofa obi akeke a wonye constituency executive na yede o misa na sem nti ano de ti say o hwe eye methodology ne dia say me kan no pan dia na ti say Professor Smart Sapon the so no a scientific. It means the scientific standard that just study no I am passe emra o si to be this no it is so let me say to say the results no can me say results no dey abantu dia can dey me can say up to the flag bearer because decision ne dey no ne betumi ateki me ameti me ntumi enka enkyere no na party ni ye betumi akyere ya adwen wo ho but the final decision to select ne dey da ono ne na so let me say me your so be a report ye me wo anya bia wo kan me so say bia ono so the team around him no so cry bia ba no mo so bia they might have gotten a copy almost ehu ne eko ntem say ye be jama Dr. Mahmoud Mamia na where elect obi ofri say what ne kan ho a to say the make kan important very important o man we dey message so bi e betumi energize ono ankasa party ni base ama sa 10 ato mu hia no omo etumi enya e very important and e ka say o hwe ne ye
our former road minister Simi Kanje Pablo say on your careful baby or trade in terms of roads construction of Amakwanta or say on your careful Pablo baby or dinamno roads for Mike and so oh yeah no Martikin Casa West Ga West in the area being Sapeman quite
anyway but that's just a side. Say yes, Rebecca
you have an interest?
So people are not topics for investors.
See, or your party need.
Yes, I Ghana for
if you are not going to sit with them, or baby, I'm say Professor J. Nana, Julius Debra, Eric Cratchy, and then the Ashwas. So it was
the topics are
lawyer Chiren. I don't know, any problem with the issues as well. Also, no general and I'm saying, so what think he Casadia, who the woman cry? I didn't. Julius Debra, Eric all right,
I'm chair the topic of Kamaga phone. I mean, chairman program any chief for any your phone. Media, let me say, who runs with whom, really? We share the role of vice president in this country. It leaves a whole lot to be desired.
They be okay,
no cry. The constitution gives the office only one responsibility. At the instance of the president, watch us here. In the ordinarily, what do you say? Nkrumah never had a vice president. No, Nibi. Buzia didn't even have a vice president. He was a premier and then he had a head of state. He didn't have a vice president. Liman started Sadi and Okofa the Graf Johnson by. And also, unfortunately, they just stayed in office for 27 months. They didn't get to enjoy Omoten and Nina. And Akaba, the way we. And there are actually a lot of questions about this position of vice president. But Emize Ebimo are reinventing the rule. And what the office ought to do, no. Obine can ask him say, "Yema Juma," and yet titles are Eba with a Juma nuna yedibe kaiu by Juma, which means Eddie's office no Until people are reinventing the rule of the office of the vice president, Omuye Juma, because they want to leave abiding legacies, as before. And to that extent, I think. When we started our conversation about the relevance or otherwise of our office, I said, Jean say, and I said, Kahun say, a bimutimi invent office, no, Eddie Yenuma Mane, Bois or Mino. And it's still, in my view, relevant, say, ye base adeno. And to the extent, Crass say, Yen Yam Pepam free, Yamra Ponomono, that office still exists. But before you become a vice president, you have to be running mate. Now, running mate here, anchor entirely the discretion of the candidate. It is entirely the discretion of the running mate who he wants to run with.
The presidential candidate.
The presidential candidate.
The presidential candidate,
the flag bearer.
The flag bearer. On discretion, on no decide. Oh, way back ticket no I would have a solid ticket. A man for free to express their views, opinions, and the rest of it. But no, at the end of the day, the back would have to stop with no candidate. He decides. And candidate actually might be brave. Minya Bano has spoken about the need to re-energize the business. I mean, it is complementary. Say man candidate no Frankatuni no Kwa or Kenya mono na the running mate so will be Kenya mo, energizing the business, especially so when party ewa bem. There is a great deal of disappointment. And kanka baya it is disappointment in the baby. Even amongst Omankasa Omo Chitafo. So you would need Obia who would complement the efforts of the candidates, in bringing back the love they have for their party, the fidelity they once had in the party. Says a lot of people have become infidels. They've lost faith in the MPP as a political corporation. Because Nyoma no omonim, the MPP they knew is not the MPP they know today. And I'm sure even outsiders can bear testament to the situation. Until we knew Obia, and a lot of people had high expectations of near Aban way bit miaye. And I'm talking about people even low within. And now Uncle Banisa. So we knew Obia obetimi I show must say look, Achia Bembu ye yen sumna yentimin queen. And you would need Obia obetimi complementing the efforts of the candidate in that regard. Again, I have made this point, probably because of where I'm coming from. You need Obia who has a niche of some sort. Because you should have an area you are good in or good at. Because sometimes governance is all about policy making and the implementation of same. And it's okay, Mrano and Siu Kwanse Kofa Obia onim chobo eka. Mrano de Nsiu Kwan. But uye chobo anyway na muwinia, you need Obia who would be sabi useful in one department or the other. What was here? And the candidate is also looking to see who would complement me in respect of areas the policies be about when it comes to the implementation, because the company are familiar with certain terrain. You would say, look, the office of the vice president, like I said, has been reinvented. And it's becoming sophisticated more than it was some 20-30 years ago.
Obviously, because of the record the current vice president has.
That's your addition.
Not necessarily.
Reinvention. But of course, you can't take that away.
No, you can't take that.
Oh, I know you cannot. No, because now me also why am I back? And it's the truth. I mean, like it or not, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has actually introduced some innovation to the office.
Idea innovation.
He used the office to do. This methodology is that metaphor.
Who said it?
No, but so that has become a basis to say Obi Mbono Humodin because he said drivers. What has here? I mean, like it or not, he's brought some innovation. Former President Mahama brought some innovation. Because the offices they occupy and yet the offices that were occupied by Accra, Atamils and the rest of it. And the innovation biaba. So you would need Obia who has a niche in some area. Nipano at the end of the day. Look, a bar sa area now, you the candidate can comfortably say, go and represent me. And you can go to bed. But who can fight your boy hey if one day? Be at your boy in the Kenya party supporters no, but a 2-year dinner na akwe bibia. I saw this in 2020 when a particular running mate was asked about Bibi. Okay, and I was like, no. Now I'm here debate. Oh, Nazu, so what do me fire? Me do fire.
I take a running mate, but body dear, that's my king body. But the sad
what I say
for the benefit
like,
of a T4.
Google the debate between the vice presidential candidates Obi.
And
I was like, yeah, come on, who call it teacher. But maybe the niche, so no. And the candidate at the time felt, say, oh, this niche would be helpful to my ticket. That's his decision. Like I said, it's all discretionary. But beyond Tobo,
Maminka literature.
But
no, I want you to
no, want in here record no or you are Facebook. On Facebook.
Was it a couple policy or literature?
Oh,
I think Sana Kai. Minuano.
I'm Sana, but if you want to emphasize, you know, when you're now,
the here is also candidate who says any pardon at that time.
At that time, that's the most important. What I say. Obi so who say, oh, Obi has background in economics and web one of fan and so on. And to say, see, beyond Obi to Kenya grassroots, you need somebody who can also, like I said, boast of some expertise in some area, especially an area that is governance related. Again, appealability to the broader masses. You just don't need Obi a party for Nunkwan and Bejina Tum. And he is an expert in the particular area. But Nipano Nusun in the buying should be said that Abontin 4. Look, there is, if you take, there's BBI friend medium voter theory.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Unkrofwa, at every point you have core voters. But the medium voters, mostly they determine who wins. What must say? And Ghana have from floating voters. Enti omu hwe ne odi ba we su de ne odi ba na wa hwe o we ne beboa me we de emmoa me then they tilt towards ne beboa omo no. Enti we the candidate bi obi wo oto aba no not necessarily because of policies per se, but the persons of the candidates could be a basis for nipa no to go and vote. That's the nipa no ne odi ka ho no sebi Mr. Because has a repulsive you can say representation of some sort, and I has this repulsive personality. I'm just trying to be guided in my choice of words. Nipani obia amam for enshada feeling no. Who didn't come ho a ebe o say wo nko na wo that ticket ni so ba ebia no husun san so betimi ahaw. And all these are factors, and I am not in the habit of trying to say and are condoning this attitude of stampeding candidates into choosing their running mates. NDC for core Congress over 2 years no you am running mate here. And the woman you are not choosing is indecisive. 2 years.
Then
NDC party didn't cancel.
And then is using party issue.
That's all the piano. I draw 200.
What is it? Why do we want to stampede the candidate into choosing Obi?
That's Hackman's.
As a chim sebi among for shenanigans course there be a time, Papa. Shenanigans be a time. Look, look, secretary the young can have some cry.
Is a part of
so I'm asking myself, and they are lobbying, you see now in this day and age,
but I'm sure as we count down, especially your good self with that exposure and experience in our body politics, as we count down, that last time I say a lot of press conference will come, a lot of secretary and just some of these things.
I know.
Until a certain level now.
Attract a certain level. And nowadays the euphemism for bribery, any lobbying, or Jessica is your lobby. And at the end of the question, I may be some say, "Who ye foul amawa bebu bio?" Jamie, when we are signing.
Young Jamie.
Now we are. Look, I'm seeing a great deal of desperation in some of the efforts of Ebim. And I'm being honest. Look, I shall say no. There were some people I felt could be good but saying the way of money, I'm inclined to suspect what really are their true intentions. I'm going to say, look, they are desperate for Adi to the point that it's becoming scary for me. Look, during Kufuor's days, Nankrofo, Kebima, Ebimu, but it wasn't as intense as this.
I think would you also agree that time has also been a factor? I mean, once time progresses, then the dynamics change, and also can be now.
You see, the dynamics do not degenerate.
Yeah, but has it degenerated?
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Secretary and Kufuor, who was paying who? And Akufo-Addo, who was paying who? What must say? It was, expression of ideas.
Where they were good.
And these are my reasons. Where me feel.
Say you can. Where they were good.
But say idea ye. And your crowd.
He who pays more.
He or she who pays more.
Hey.
Oh yes. And you not say she become. She's come. You not say she's come. No, you said it. Me. You not say names keep popping up. And some of the names I popping up according to Madi. And I'm being gender sensitive. One problem. I'm being gender sensitive.
What is it? Take it basic from me.
No, media. Look, allow the candidate. Sebi. Only Minyansa. He knows who would partner him on the ticket to make it a solid ticket. And look, if in some me titi, sometimes they go to the highest level. At every point, your friend, now I hope you are not ignoring my choices. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, do you want them? Are you allowing the man a free hand to choose who be on or GDC minute bit me Juma? And I'm be interest. I can't say representing interest be.
Okay, so you agree with Hackman when he says that pressure on Bawumia, Papa Hackman,
and chairman of council. I think
pressure
on
Bawumia to select running mate has no basis
at all. Pressure now, Mudi man, you. Look, I believe, sir, having a running mate complements your efforts, but allow the person the time to choose Nipa who would be a perfect, you can say pair and a perfect addition. But move for sino say and this man today so diba na ebim kra 13 months na for nipa no why if you didn't believe in his expertise, if you didn't believe in the fact that Sebi on him nyansa san come to abana man here.
Okay, Mamina,
allow him the same freedom you allowed Nanado.
Okay, so Mamina, but just a brief on this one. Hackman Oswajman, the chairman of the New Patriotic Party's Council of Elders, has urged restraint regarding pressure on Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the party's presidential candidate, to announce his running mate. It has never happened before in the life of this particular party of the NPP, where there have been pressures and campaigns all over.
That's the point I'm making.
The place for who partners him.
The president himself said this.
At the end of the day, it is
during the week.
At the end of the day, it is Dr. Bawumia's face and name which will be on the ballot paper.
Focus on him.
There are 16 regions carrying out his duty as vice president, sometimes acting president, and then going around takes a bit of time. So he needs time to do all these things and due process in this instance.
Can consult widely.
The Constitution in consultation with the National Council. He expressed concern over the mounting public and media pressure to expedite the announcement.
Yes.
Okay, but we'll give the pressure. Our pressure.
Let him be.
But I'm saying that we'll give the pressure.
Why?
Our pressure.
What right have you to give him the pressure?
Major stakeholders.
No, stakeholders into a year and with what does that solve? I just told you I started this by.
But you are saying that. Running running made me say one office no I attractive no big catcher say or disagree to that I think you need different party or a stakeholder in Ghana's affairs or if
you're not getting my point. My preamble, if you paid attention to my preamble, and it said the role of the vice president and yes from Kusa the nipa no here kesi a candidate nankasa because he becomes the president or no he was the seemingly limitless executive power on unisem na edisha. Let's focus more on him
than
Nipana, like I was saying, because we are losing focus. They say Akwedi is a running mate is as equally important as a candidate. And yes,
okay. So,
but remember when we the candidate himself, this is the timer. Me as an individual, I expect him to come out and say, nonsense in Omunchaso.
Oh wow!
No, he needs to speak up. Look, you see, it is sign of leadership. for him to come out and say, look, these are causing distractions.
But what has this got to do with Akudra?
For me, I think yes, but like Riley said, this is a candidate who knows his onions. He knows his onions. And I don't think so necessarily, I was saying
it's causing distractions within the party. Why do you think your chairman of council of elders has to speak?
But that's why he has spoken.
Because he's becoming disruptive.
You see,
Papa you are disrupting him with pressures and all those things
coming out in a day.
This time he came out to say that look,
we should hold on for now. But then we should accord him
the respect.
Not. I mean, I don't think.
No, it is respect.
Give him the freedom and the room to. He already carries it.
If you respect him, you will not be trying to stampede him into making a certain decision.
You can't.
I find it disrespectful. They are trying to stampede him with all this
shenanigans. Is a very firm and strong person.
Allow him then.
But whether firm or not, the stampede, he
needs to come out and let everybody know. Look, I can't be stampeded.
Coming can be. Me could be man can be. Why my time bank here? Intimacy and mammy can be an anchor. We know. Can be papa because Obumuna
party be a crab or party be about one can be me
party never make a selecting of you can say running mate and as a potential vice president here. But media and apparently can say as one can make sense. The Holy Book makes us understand something very simple. See, be anxious of nothing. There are some people said I think cancer has a friction, causing attention, and then winning. It's because some people are anxious. Some people are anxious. I'd like to say, as you said, Nipani, I want the right so no be me bobidin. Now so ya try say gina ha. Na me nzana no. Let the person make his own choice. Ebi na de amoso nkofa na mu nkofa mu ano. Enso no yes can be out towards a particular direction. And ya try say de we na de man no and so offer. But me nka hwe kwa me 2008. There were very known names. Very strong names. Like my wife and Zabin, they make Kenya win. And everybody, na ye kasana, and we have potential for Nakufuado.
So you're expecting a shock?
To some about. What does it? We have potential as a woman, and at that time, said, na Atikan, and yes, he can be Tian was on Niaka. Nay, when Nipani Diana can't, I mean, Nipano competence, I was supposed to be the
lawyer, Sikas me a wood evidence.
I think
you see, Assembly knew what of my
we are lawyer, track, we are lawyer until me relax to you.
Relax.
We are lawyer until we yes, who party would now son maybe so.
Your kind is an undebated fact until the end. Don't worry about it.
Then you say, yes, and you tell maybe some evidence once a minute. But
the only a do sell or penny pan so or penny pan on the benant. Who says it when you be anxious? Ne dina le chat de sanye people sense we put an away for the name na we dear ban we dear ban woman you know who you know adore. Simple. I know about me. Make I pass. I don't know the friction. I remember some names. The likes of PCP for Reno, Canada, Japan. Make I pass. The heat that came up. Not easy because about me anyone but yeah. But the man stood on his ground and say, "Hey, someone knows. Someone knows. I'm so in a microphone and I'm pay and I'm a decro. And the party for time that's not the coy." Sebe say you in prince aso no anwan na ne dem one and for the bedu ha. Running mate say me started say back for this very time. I make I said him say is it November was December we no ko share and party for no say open more time last year. So beka ya. Ana more time no na say we mo twen so de beba. But and now but in a divo from a PM at the China we are by before we are from say when number at least you know when I'm Pascal Bonnie is one woman. What you are moving in Yamma will be asked. What's it?
The one, we were there,
man,
na boy no.
Any way,
and
na to see the way ho.
the one.
Na to see the.
I didn't think he would say.
And me bisa senti no na di ni man sample na peke no. Sample na peke no. Enya hwe nti ni nyina mu de wo mu ne o man. Di obayi no de wo nyi no. And ma me nipa ne wo mu. Sa nipa no ebe yo bi a wo wadwene mu no wonu se bi obadwan bo wo. Okay? Because sometimes wadwene mu no wo so ba bo. But in the minds of those who are going to vote for you, women say,
okay.
So the unfortunate part is say now, post no year, one so my year, none of them goes to the ordinary Ghanaian. They all pick it from the party people and ask for their opinions. But I want to say, send me before Ghana, at Obama 2024, you lose. Manosi.
All right. I think.
Ghana,
yeah, bringing Tino.
No, they are something.
But you're taking share conversation as I then come and do a commerce of our officer Odeba. Then we can continue the conversation.
Minsanka, another topics here.
No, there was, yeah.
We open for
So some of the topics, okay, Maminsha is free. Well, the external debt restructuring. So just quickly now, we'll talk about some other issues. Anyway, one was there. We had spoken about the need to be the binge on debt, and as from borrowing. You know, can one semsa ebimukra na omuzi they are engaged in smart borrowing as if for borrowing there is nothing smart about it. What you must say.
Lawyer, Mr.
I think at this point it's in order to request protection from this man.
From national security.
Look, like we always say, when your deficit is high, there are two things you do. First, in fact, you finance deficit by two things. Back when you don't print money anymore. So the next thing you do is to borrow. But I have always said, sir, look, so revenue and cost ra, and if you can't increase your revenue, rationalize your expenditure. But we kept borrowing to the extent that I did crying say, you floating bonds, Euro bonds now they are oversubscribed. It becomes a source of joy. Yet me did
yeah,
because our bonds are overly subscribed. Wako tonka obia tokana bruso a ozi a meniaje. Enye se sika na yedi chew. Eye ka you are contracting debt. Wako ya ma adi na bruso ozi a ka ya akobbo edi a bruso ntie ni aje. Ye be wi hu wele. Ye kan no ma nte. Eni ni ene. Now we have got to the point that all components of public debt, domestic and external, they became unsustainable. So we had to, and as part of the conditions for the IMF bailout, one was to bring the levels down to sustainable levels. And we had to deal with the domestic component of public debt and then deal with the external part. So domestic, Afro ni punks by a man for you because it was unexpected. Ebimunya Sakura, Ebimunya Ponky Joe, Ebimusunya Ewoho. Even so, our debts were still not sustainable because we still had an external component. And Ayeka said, okay, we'll try and restructure. Look, finally, there was an agreement between government of Ghana and our official creditors. And it was just back and forth, and finally, we've come to the point where they have agreed. And in so doing, Ghana would be saved some 4.7 billion. Because creditors now to say they will take some slight haircut, by 37%. Media, I think, is good news. Even though, mismanagement, but at least I'm happy because relief is very important. Now, yet debt relief, idea ebe buayin, and we can progress with the IMF program. No, Marty say if it's not been released yet, my understanding is that 360 million would soon be released, and these are all good indicators. But near me, you say nipa na odi enko do sa pempenso no. All say nyuma ni wie no sorry ko ye. You know they say the international emissaries convoy envoy. On the the international financial transaction. Domestic you kura we hu so na international. And now finance minister Ben and who apart from Ken Oforiatta. On now who took us into this ditch? Onwa. What has there be? Oh, finance minister has always been one at a time. What has here? And for me, nobody can tell me, say, you can say, oh, it was COVID and the rest of. Look, what did COVID do? To the extent, say, was it COVID that made us go do the oversubscriptions? And some of the debt, what I'm say, sometimes, Obianka say, Busia bo air the bonnie. In doing my master's dissertation, the topic I wrote on was, I was trying to test the threshold hypothesis and the effect of that on economic growth. And they say, one was say, economists be eka say, uboka eco group and pensubia, it begins to be deleterious, like it becomes dangerous. But initial levels in the year of your development, uboka, it helps you, it spurs growth and so on until it gets to a certain level. A BIMU estimated 90% of your GDP becomes a problem. A BIMU when it goes beyond and so on. I was trying to test that hypothesis on hippie countries. That's what I wrote on. And look where a woman is there. Developing countries are not hippie countries. Kabebrebo, Mbwai, and that threshold actually works. Obinka say, who was Sikano from the beginning, you need to borrow because we need Sikano. But when you become a loan addict, just a woody and yebe bia woody and yaka wanko busia mbwa. That is where the problem is, and that is where we were with Oforiatta. On there, it was fashionable to go and borrow. On there, Sikajia didn't any problem. Busia bona any problem, man. But I say, can who say near the uncle or hippic no? It was because of sa binge borrowing. Yeah, Bobisiani left, right, center. Eddie uncle do happen, Pensui. Oba and Ghana was credit worthy. The fact that you are credit worthy in Treze at every point go to access capital from the market. What I say, but of us say, oh, yeah, credit worthy in Bobisi. I know, boy, till we were no longer credit worthy. We shared the latest Moody's ratings before we went to IMF. No, almost my Fitch gave us B- and Moody's gave us CAA1. Which means Ghana was a high-risk country. And to be able to Ghana for Bisia, it's risky. Until we were no longer credit worthy. Na ye ka munsusumbo Bisia, and ye kumi krane say, ye ka Bisia ho asem no, and when issues of revenue became a big deal no. Instead of us to add to the stream of revenues we had no, ye can say kakra ye wa yeji, even though there are inefficiencies. Yen deal with the inefficiencies no. You be here free or na the fraba. And I always make reference to E-levy. So I didn't make dream in Tiasia. E-level and toll booths are free, rotos are free hon. You only add to such streams. One is not a substitute for the other. But enuna yeah. To the extent say we're not getting enough revenue to service our debt, whether domestic or external.
Okay, I think.
And the core IMF program no. They wanted our debt levels to come to sustainable limits. And then a bit ye nisika a bit go to yebi ama and I renegotiate the you can say 10 years no. And so and the only way we could do that was to have a restructuring program. And back and forth. Nyamin Chad and your official creditors ni biajatum say they would help and they are willing to take a haircut to the tune of $4.7 billion. But this should serve as a lesson that going forward
we will not.
Doc.
You may I say, my let me say, let me say, important say, let's set the parameters right in some of the issues now. The meeting can say, also my say, oh, far Ghana, a year and back or summer, the Biameka say, this is not the first time I hear near friend say a year restructuring of government instrument. Say Osha Tama 2001 eye Omampenyi John Ejekum dey work for Ebefro Akunyana as Omampenyi President of the Republic of Ghana. At the time Obefo Akunyano na ye debt to GDP no over 180%. Echro say ye fa ye GDP sikabotna ye nya no man mu nyina akra entumi ntua yeka. Just say yes fire no yes akobo besia oha entitimu aduowotwe e de beka 100% na ya value ni nyina no ho ansana yetumi atua yeka. Na we ema Omampenyi Kufuor any at any time eye wona wonimu de ewo economy ni mo no, including international consultants ebka omutribo mu se ye pese Ghana etumi fa ne ntuma pay frade a na e wo se etumi restructure eye government domestic instruments then time no na wo ho ti se wo kan eye records and as the data e wo eye Bank of Ghana those times na ade ba kwa ne di mu akotrepa eye saa enipako no tena se omo ekọ benkrom ne se ohwe interest rate anase insihu a na yetua on government instruments at that time na spotokasem ne kan se wo de hwe eye yen growth rate ekwanya Ghana economy no efa so nyine a na che se bi na entiase bi anyeden enim ti na ewo se yetumi ye de efre ne se restructure na ye betu ne din at that time se Government of Ghana Index Linked Bond echere say yentumi ntua coupon rate anasa in layman's language no eye interest rate was soro sensania wo economy no eye den nyini ana ekonanim nti amobeye nhyehyeye ebeye ne se ne se saade a ene was say at that time no na me say average growth rate no eye be 5% or ha enchichemu enum nti no sa time no bond bia anase government instrument bia ne wo at that time no eye 5% na government no ebetumi etua no sa so be ye nhyehyeye ne say until 3 years anase emfie miensa echi no enya ade a yebetua obia sika ayeden ama no sefa ho sensi hu anase sika botre no mpo na asoso se yesi ate se de ene ye ka ho asem ya enti nhyehyeye a Omampenyi Kufuor eduku akwanu saa bre no in addition to eye hepika ye koye no eno ne tumi ma by 2008 net debt to GDP na negina 180% or hanchichemu eduha nwotwe no na atumi ate ababedru eye 32% eye oha hanchichemu eduasa mienu eno ne de emi se ye former president onye baby koye Ora Atamils ebe inherit in 2008 omahene na sa decision ya Omampenyi Kufuor take ya no eno ye one of the decisions eno ntino etumi be nya eye NSA kase ye wo strong bond market anase financial capital market to Ghana ha obroni beka ne say one of the kingpin reasons in tia yetumi enya saade no ewo mamia sa restructure na ye na sa ebrena asem yo mahene na ye di fi hoi 32% amaking say ye debt to GDP or hanchichemu eduasa mienu ena aban foforo so ebefa akunya no na omahene tama ye aban na eye NDC aban eja akunya no in 2016 no na ye debt to GDP no from 32% ohanchechemu eduasa mienu no na akwakogina sen na akwakogina 73.1% oha enchechemu eduosom yensa echiri po baako
debt to GDP it was 57%.
David.
Which year are you talking about?
2016.
Yeah.
And you said
It was when we did the rebasing.
But it's still
But this is
why am I rebasing? And you are using the rebasing. No, this is just changing the the reference year.
No, but it was 57%.
You used
It wasn't. It was the rebasing. Please.
Whether rebasing or no.
No, what is even rebasing? When you change the reference year, we use prices here. We calculate.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
Bacho, Atik. Just go to the Bank of Ghana.
Okay.
Okay.
Proceed. You
They say,
proceed. By 71,
77.1%.
57, I think
2016.
57%. It wasn't.
Okay, allow space. You allow space.
I am not talking about that rebase figure. I am talking about the 73.1%. That was the debt to GDP. No, me say foul Neko Bank of Ghana.
No, that's
no Google.
Where the flow.
Where the nya sembia. Me where say they make an sign a report in ma.
Where the flow.
The Bank of Ghana reports na me make.
Chief.
The Bank of Ghana report as me making. Ne yakwa do 73.1%.
We hadn't revised the GDP. We hadn't revised inflation figures yet. What you say?
Atik, let me land. So now Say yes, sir. Then why did the NDC government go to IMF in 2015?
That's what I'm saying.
If the debt were sustainable, then why did we go to the IMF in 2015?
But we're still paying our debt by then.
No, my question is, if it was sustainable,
when you go to IMF,
then why did we go? Yes,
when you have fiscal imbalances and it's not just okay.
See, it is very clear. In 2012, we have fiscal deficit. You're saying
2012 or 16.
2012, we have fiscal deficit. You're saying 11.6%. That is one of the highest fiscal deficit we've had in the history of Ghana for the last 15 years. In 2020, crack COVID the buy, your fiscal deficit was 10.8% of GDP. This is the data. So, this is the data. Say offer a year nominal debt stock in 2016. Now nominal debt stock a 29.2 billion. Say off that is in American dollar. And they say offer in total GDP
which
in
year?
2016. I'm making.
You said it was
$29.2 billion. That was your nominal debt stock.
Dollars.
Yes, in dollar terms.
See, do it in Ghana cedis because if the exchange rate is low,
No, I'm
the
coming.
dollar figure will be high.
Yes, I think that is. I think I'm. You see, let me finish. And to what the opa. So if you want to get a percentage right.
No, use nominal figures in cedis.
No.
Then the dollar you
Because
Wasn't
the
it
dollar.
192?
Listen. I think because the dollar is a stable currency. That's why I'm using the dollar as a benchmark. So allow me to land. It is
Stable in some place, doc.
no, the dollar is a stable. No, and yet the dollar changed to CDO.
Yo.
The dollar as a currency of measurement is stable.
I agreed, yeah.
That is what I'm saying.
I agreed, that's fine.
It is all fun in dollar terms. Just use your phone and do the calculation here and tell me what you get. So what you say? Now, quickly, in 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, Ghana did not go to the Eurobond market to borrow.
Yeah.
They did.
No, we didn't. Check the data. We didn't.
From 2009 to 2011.
To 2012, actually.
That
We,
Mills
we
part.
never went to the Eurobond. Our first Eurobond subscription was in October 2007 under John Ajekum D. Wokufo.
What kind of first time?
Make a first, but from there, no, Yanko Biema until 2013. Go and check the data.
Yes, that one I agreed. Yeah, 2013.
Between 2013 to 2016, every single year we went to the Eurobond market.
No, it's not true.
The data is here.
Okay,
The data is here from the Ministry of Finance. I have the data. From 2013 to 2016.
Allow, don't interject.
Each particular year went to the Eurobond market.
How much did you go for?
Allow,
I'm talking about the subscription of Eurobonds. So, and it's a share a Eurobond that you could in 2016, now 6 years. It matured in 2021. So, Eurobond that you could in 2007, now 10 years. It matured in 2017. No, I have the data here. When I finish, I'll share it with you. You see? I have the data here, so when I finish, we can interrogate the data. Yes, I have the data here. So I'm speaking based on the data I have from Ministry of Finance. You see? And it's a Woshoma, a first Eurobond that your cost subscriber 2017 Ghana and called Eurobond market for the record. It was in 2018 and your call Eurobond market.
2021.
Yes. Inti Ghana brea your core Eurobond to set the year can between 2018 to 2021 and the Ghana core Eurobond market. Na oka the annual public debt reporter. Will say Eurobond that you in 2018. One of the reasons you said now we wanted to buy back the bond that has matured in 2017. It is there in the annual public debt report, and I want everyone to go and read it. Say Osha Aya Eurobond that you cost subscriber in 2021 and so on. Now 2016 Aya debt and amateur with a coupon rate of about 9.18%. And a rate that was lower than that.
What was the rate?
I think it was about
First
8.
subscription was 11.7.
No, I think it's not true.
Okay, I'm just
The
going to
highest rate we have had was under the NDC, it was 10.something%. I have the data here.
We condemned by NDC, IMPP came. They had 11.7.
No, it's not true. It is not true. I have the data here. We can cross check it when we are done. Yes, the data is here. I have, unless the data I have, what I have for the ministry is different from what you have. That is the data I have. Okay, so this was subscribed to refinance that debt. It is a what kind of annual public debt reporter. It is captured there, and the remaining money some went to budget support, and the remaining went into the second fund, which is a fund created that it is a kind of to oh yes, but that's what
but he also used some of the subscriptions to retire.
Let me finish with my point. And to fast forward, and your economy no kakra na e fan into mapa efra. In fact, say oshe yen gross reserves between 2017 to 2018 no. Now your gross reserves no etumi move aka almost be say a little over 4 months import cover. Na chese say you need be to Ghana. Na yes nka yanko bo besia kra. Nka ya dia nka ebetumi amaye den ye gina ye naso. Omahini. Eno na fofia nkoto ata. Ena ye the twin causes see COVID-19 and Russian-Ukraine. I am just giving a precursor to where our war started. Because before COVID-19, the CD had one of its best performance within that period. This I challenge anyone here to go and check the data. Before COVID-19,
it had its best performance
in terms of depreciation, marginal rate of depreciation. You can check the data, is there.
What was the rate of depreciation in 2020? You said it started before or...
No, I'm saying before,
which is 2019.
COVID. Yes, between 2017 to 2019 was a period that the city had one of its best performance against the euro in terms of marginal depreciation compared to previous years. The data is there, you can check it. I have taken time to look at the data, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay? And a fofia antwata. And a COVID bye. COVID bye the revenue shortfalls near idea by me say what can a 2020 budget ni 2021 budget and any idea I would want to go into the details. Afi bedru baby no say ile bi aba be necessary evil e was say aban no etumi hwe say betumi po akọ parliament nenka ama ye moma ye di omo kind of some form of confidence in the economy and also ye nyina nim the parliamentary system say me esi ho entino ama entumi anko through at the time nenka ye hia ni the most and no so ekọ trigger ye ema say wo hwe at that time no mpo a Ghana cedi no ahode no etumi tiba forma within that period 2022 no yetumi add over 67 billion Ghana cedis ekaye debt ho a abrekokra mpa yanko international market bo sesebio ye kwakobo besia na ene na didi mo ma hene bedru bebi na se bebi ade na du no ya reserve na meka se ya build wo ho no na eno ne yesu bi so ade atua kanka kakra na biem so na yentumi nko international financial market enkobo besia eho ko buy se ene was a Ghana eco subscribe to IMF. Now as part of the conditionality no now we had to restructure our debt. Omahini say ye ka the macroeconomic fundamentals the poor man I mean we videos say yen gold reserve in 2016 your total gold reserves na 8.7 metric tons omahini. And now Minuka say in the midst of all these challenges asemia Minuka your mahini your total gold reserves no to me move from 8.7% to 34.7 metric tons. Say fundamentals asem na ye kan ya ene asem mpa ye ka say enti na ababe necessary ibu say e wo say ye na enya ade a emi say me ne wo mienu ana say Ghana ni bia no eye ade a eni gie ewom dabi me kasa na chese me kura na bia na me ni me de meka. It is not palatable. However, it became a necessary pill for us to swallow. To send near 2001 no ABC yet say make say omampanyi kofo abreso yetumi ye den ya enam enunti ema economy no esa fan to 89 to mine me di ma no AC ene ye debt to GDP ratio ejina sen ye debt to GDP ratio according to the latest Bank of Ghana report in May 2024 ye jina 62.7% of GDP omahini say ye ka unsustainable threshold that omahini nchiremu ewo ho. Say fa WAMI the West African Monetary Institute. Say cross 70% and say debt unsustainable. But say fa international institutions like the IMF they are. Let's say cross 60% unsustainable. Now where did this 60% even come from in the first place? This 50%, this 60% was not an invention of the IMF or any of the Bretton Woods. It actually originated from a European Union time and no person from EU. And no man can say you too say until say mining in a bit me a carbon aya back no it was say a debt to GDP no a 60% or less. A 60% as me a free ba or mine.
Doc, my man Nasi, I take him pacho.
No, yeah,
fair to
there are some issues and what are
me and Kasama Makosha a year 2016 BUG for you and Jimmy but be my pacho coco boy. I had a call the common pacho.
All right, that's fine. So debt to your friend saying your debt issues are a namsoma and they yabe pie a year and pepper so be or mine say yentimi entua ye kaya there. Alright. Yankai who say for the records a bredi kani a Ghana ebedru abedrum pempen soa or mine car what there was untimi ntua. No say yentria was I think I jump on time was yentria. But yentria and mintia they are two different things. Yentria be trust be a woman name of house untia. But when you are seeing mintia, and for that reason we are asking or urging those that we owe from sir one more na one more they can be better one venture one more and venture and so ntia say sika tria and nitria and anybody be tria and be an out to send. That is a level that we have gotten to. But a very simple pointer made the best start here free. I did my argument in a year. Obibisa, Madam Sofia Kufu, the former CJ, Ubis Ekans and Bibrano Picketing of Finance Ministry, was say nobody has been able to tell us why we are here. And indeed today, till 7 you go to Tia, Casa Ya, Casa Dio, Wassaman. Ubi no Wabaimia from the economic management team to the last person in this government. Nobody has been able to tell us why we have gotten to this point. We keep hovering around, trying to create our own meanings and impressions. But we beat me trained here, I do. But my Kaisa and Chebebre, and Mampania be the boy and Kaye be said, but an open to me, sir. A dear back open a moment be to Sanachi, a Bessiambo. Was so Bobessian Bibria, baby as IMF. And then we are before the IMF seeking for $3 billion, dollars. I said 3 billion. No, yet Chanama is so and a crack. Na and it some one say, a dear call honey, yes, sir. Yaboka Amanatraso. No, my main phone call this news article reported by Ghana Web, and was say this was in 2020 February. Was say World Bank in 2020 said Ghana stood at the risk of being classified as a high debt distressed country if it does not stop its excessive borrowing. That is a World Bank to meet transit who said, "O mine any tre, I'm maybe a yakutum. I'm not a yakutum near Bessia ye bogum bebre." Now the Okacha is a nye Bessia bona yabun bebre no. Ghana Baba debt distractions. NASA group in Nomudi. And Pampa 2022, I think June. And we declare Ghana say Ghana better than a debt distressed country. Mania, a common and more would be an emotion. Into lucky from the capital market saying the intimate Kohonko a bond EBM. Now for that reason, no. And now my yes, I didn't know about IMF. A honeymoon as the late John Kuma and Nick for a time, number 2 young IMF. We are sovereign nation, young court today, young court tomorrow, and Conaba. Nina Chinokaba, and go see, and no time you copy IMF. But you see, one funny thing I want to say before, sir, and no baba. World Bank for Black COVID buy. World Bank and the IMF, FA, who say, am I be minded to competition? I'm in a minded teaching, and I said most of them were on some kind of high debts. Even though not women declare that debt, well, that's woman can say debt distress no. But no woman should be now at the account to. And when we look at the policy reference debt suspension services initiative about. We be in May 2020 and ended December 2021, so it was more than a year. And we be say a man my hold work a woman, and must subscribe to Sadia. Now, more car, more the entrance and saying. Alright, Unya Banya, Onion Quankaya. Na obisi na nimpa yade obenya no say BBC yade adefo bi se bofa no ndom da opa man from one kodom sa de ni bia Ghana ka e ma na so ma World Bank pani ya no that no be say e be kan asem bi say wadi Ghana ho ya pa say no wo say omudi BBC abato no nim say Ghana ya man ya e kan me na yen na wanya good opportunity say fa ho ba dom free na yentime twe wo kan sensen ma na hutimi ha na sika obetimi nya ne se sika ba kotua waka covid about ba kotua waka no enkotua waka na fa sika no ebo ho bra kwabra. This government under Bawumia and Nana failed to subscribe to that policy, and that led the man any article in Babian a break what him person my camera for any must work anina. Emeka say he's very surprised Saga Nigeria am for one kodom yam for one kodom no few years down the line after the yanya see about debt suspension. And only haircut some year name you. A bianca don't condom yankia medru salary umune. A bianca don't condom yanka maybe a wood tampan and a bianca temper. A bianca don't condom yanka even be a wood palm churn. One by a bit difficult to convince to accept your proposals and so on and so forth. Maybe that was a good platform for them to have come easily under this. Yet this government failed to do it. I'm told they said one of the best managers of the economy. It's the best managers now in a good avenue. Now fail to subscribe to her. Can you be the best? Then now you come down to this issue of Eurobond. And President Kufoko Bobi. His own was I think even less than $1 billion. 750, thank you. Mills, sorry, from Muhammad time, I think, simple. It was, and also was less than 3 billion for the entire 4 years in Yara. That amount to maybe you can put it for me. But it was less than 4 billion for the, less than 3 billion for the entire 4 years. Less than 3 billion for the entire 4 years. Now let's come to MPP government. It is true, someone started call from 2018. It's true, said 2017, one call. Call 2018. 2018, I 2 billion. 2019, 3. 2020, 3. 2021, 3. 22, and I said, I'm sorry, World Bank, I can't say, Yabaye, a debt distress country, yet me, obedient to me, any and Delibian locking out of capital market. NT and a home at Yakubeka, Honoquano, and Combako. No, very simple question. Let's presume say we're going to be in C classroom. Says going number 11, and that finance minister say $13 billion. What are they? A dear pan, this is going or mine $13 billion. I buy in some, and then will be my friend and sister. Yenina, a two should we are mostly. Come on. What's the I'm upset? They are going to give us. I'm so I can. What's the 360 million? Good. And we are happy. See, we not 360 million. Meanwhile, the very same people now, yeah, bumpy, and I say, you need air train, 360 million. You need over $11 billion.
Oh, dear.
And when he
11 billion, as I can win, and you million citizens, and you billion citizens, and the end of the Yamayan, Cobra. Sure. Now they will jump to go and mention COVID and then Russia Ukraine war. What do you me for Russia then to check? Me just the COVID. COVID. I'm taking you to a report.
Which of them?
The COVID audit report. Page 9, paragraph 24. What IMF that time, MIN $2 billion, but the first chunk I buy was $1 billion first. Into a utilization of the IMF rapid credit facility of $1 billion. When we change about cities, we have 5 billion and something. I mean, it's so and over. And almost this can but to let you understand something, we are very problematic. TB. Also, we noted that the amount received was utilized on liability management. District Assembly Command Funds, fourth quarter allocation. NAPCO, second quarter allocation, LEAP, first program quarter allocation, free SHS allocation, second semester for 2019-2020 academic year, free water and electricity. All right, free water and electricity When you have catch a COVID is kind of majesty, so I am free in Canada, Madame free in a Montreal, and with the COVID never. They said that. And the same was one of the 1 billion and Kanyaka. Yati. Yes, I'm going to say then capitalization of the national capitalization of the National Development Bank of Ghana anyway. National Development Bank of Ghana anyway. No, me be question. Was in bank and mama bank in the capital.
Recapitalization.
Capitalization, not capitalization as a bank in the capital. No. New capital
is a new bank.
New
so
bank.
They capitalize it.
And they're capitalizing out of the $1 billion. National Development Bank of Ghana.
You're not rapper.
You're not rapper.
No, you're not. We've capitalized it.
So where is the bank?
We've capitalized it.
So where is the bank?
We have capitalized it.
I know. And the bank, you see,
we have capitalized it.
Capitalizing it means that when it's coming from the bank, you see.
Let them make catches. We have capitalized it.
What's the comment of the audit report?
Just as you can, yes.
We've capitalized it.
So where is the bank?
It's a new bank.
And when 2020, we're in 2024. Where is the bank?
No.
These are criminals,
Don't jump. You need to
I am jumping. This one I have to jump. 2020, we're in 2024.
Don't jump. Don't jump with your profession.
Last one. Last one. Last one. Relax.
Dr. Bano.
What's saying? Let's not capitalization of that bank. National Development Bank.
Let's not go back and forth on this matter.
Where is the bank?
In black and white. So maybe what suggested I say activity.
Activity be
No.
we are not going to activate.
But here we don't find
where is
that
it? Bank anyway.
We need to know.
So we
where is the bank?
Or can't separate you. We need to find it.
Yanko, last point. Was a construction of 88 district hospitals and 7 regional hospitals. When we said, baby, when we started this agenda 111, baby, on first seed capital free was the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, $100 million. So why are they still citing
$100 million.
Oh, doc, me see the seed capital when they started when they were starting. That time about 88, there was no 88 hospital project. 88 that were changing it to agenda 111. Don't forget. And even 111. Initially it was 88. But became agenda 111. But agenda 111, when we were commencing it, the very first time you were starting, the capital you used was not from the COVID fund. You see, the simple terms in this Sika ye nya ye no wache sika na di. And the woman to me kind of claim to ye ninti. Ye na ka to the COVID ne ba enti man aboka me se COVID ba no man nya mfaso. But then mfaso la kwedi ni pa bone fo nsem. Ana se ni pa bone fo na che sika na di enti na ye te ayebre na ka nya won wasa che mu bisa ho se won mo ete soro. Won mu bi na odi sika ma ne ba se won koto ka amre no. Ana won kosi dan bi mre no. Ana na ka na ma sika no ma enfie na nia.
The bank that we capitalize.
Mame mo ntre
wa.
Edin de ho be hian.
But Mikhail says Croatia and Italy.
Capitalization of the National Development Bank of Ghana.
Okay, that's all I have.
And which has been so.
Maybe I'll come I think just a word now for sports ready for you.
Now I wanted to do some comparative analysis.
Yeah.
Now
these people.
Because was speaking about the debt to GDP ratios, and okay, say I want to speak to trends or trajectories. We share from 2012 now 47, and I'm taking 2012 because it makes the analysis a bit better. Now I started at 47.8, and Eco 56 the following year, Quadru 72.5. That is so we are using the old reference here. Now, this is for the SAR era. No? Uber from 2017 to 2019 and 2020, the trajectory was the same. And Kahun said, the reason why we always calculate debt in ratios is debt by itself doesn't make a lot of sense until you are able to show and the GDP is our total income. What you might say in simple terms. Until you want to find out that ratio, compared to sika ye wo saying. Now, your economy so our economy was growing between 2017 and so on all the way to 2020. Now, what that means is that even if your economy is growing very fast compared to the growth in your debt, the ratio is going to be less. Am I making some sense?
Of course.
Good. So, but near ebe mo who say still ye boka kesene say. Until I was comfortable with using the rebased year, no, because prices change, your GDP also grows and so on. Until we use it more like current figures are a boa chain say ube use figures dada. But we share the trend from 2017. No, it's not as if the debt stagnated and now the rate of increase no was slow. And no sooner cost. That's what I
was going to read.
What was it? And a cost to the point say it became difficult. Look, even though
at what point you say it's very critical because I did
2022
post, no I did pre and post, so at what point did it become critical? It was post 2020.
Correct.
I agree. Just look at the data.
Correct.
So that's
correct.
The point I was making. That is the basis of my argument.
Correct. That's it.
But
we don't have any point
to show the impact of the twin.
Oh,
you see, that was my argument.
I am yet to see. I'm yet to see. And I'm not seeing any study.
No, you can't rule it out.
You are saying man,
you see, nobody has any point. I'm yet to see a study that says the rise in the debt to GDP to the in fact the problems we had with debt servicing was because of COVID and then Ukraine-Russia war.
But there are so many World Bank reports as stated in Sub-Saharan Africa. The causes are the
I'm talking about a study that is specific to Ghana. You see, when you say Sub-Saharan, when you generalize conversations, it becomes difficult. What you say? But
those reports are there. We are economists. We are
dealing with Ghana
as economists.
Franco, esa the electrical appliances for just washing machines, woman CCTV cameras, and need all clear.